floor is the operational stage on which all business and production takes place. On it are placed the machines, tools, and desks of business and industry. Floors are subjected to more wear from traffic and operations and collect more dirt than any other part of a building. Scientific floor care, therefore, is the most important phase of any sanitation program and may require almost half of the entire sanitation effort. However, the benefits of good floor care more than compensate for the time, material, and effort required. Most people think that floor cleaning is a manual operation which begins when the worker starts to clean. This discounts completely the planning and preparation which is necessary for efficient floor cleaning. Now, this enlarged copy of a floor plan shows the areas to be cleaned and maintained each day. The colors indicate the type of flooring and aid in allocating the amount of floor space to be covered daily. The entire cycle of daily, weekly, and monthly floor care is scheduled on comprehensive charts. Now, although working out these schedules takes time, they result in increased coverage and better cleaning. Cleaning frequencies may then be modified to meet changing needs. First of all, know your floors. Teach the operator the basic composition of these floors so he'll be able to follow an intelligent system of floor care. There are 4 main types of soft floors. This is asphalt tile and is fairly resistant to moisture. It is the least resilient of the soft floors and is easily indented. Ground-in dirt or foreign materials impair and mar its surface. Linoleum is made from vegetable oils, oxidized into a tough, pliable substance and mixed with ground cork, wood flour, and color pigment. It is usually pressed onto a burlap backing. It may be stained by grease and oil. Rubber is very durable if properly treated. It is composed of pure rubber combined with fillers and color pigments. There are many types of vinyl floorings, but generally they may be classified as vinyl asbestos, homogeneous vinyl, and calendared vinyl. The difference in the types of vinyl pertain mostly to the service life of the flooring. For our purposes, we can treat all vinyl floorings the same. Vinyl floorings are composed of vinyl resins, a plasticizer, mineral fillings, and color pigments. Vinyl floorings are very attractive in color, and their surface is smooth and durable. They are resistant to wear, and yet they're extremely resilient underfoot. Among the resilient floorings, vinyl is the most resistant to grease and oil, but they must be protected with a wax or non-wax finish. Floors are subjected to unusual traffic conditions. Take, for example, this 118-pound girl. When walking with stiletto heels, she exerts more than 2 tons pressure per square inch. That's a lot of pressure on the floor. From what you've heard and seen, you should realize more than ever the importance of knowing your floors and the need for cleaning each as required by the proper cleaning procedure. To clean and protect these floors, provide your operator with the best materials and equipment. Consult your National Sanitary Supply Association member, who is qualified to furnish you with the proper floor cleaning materials as determined by your need. Other sanitation aids, such as waste receptacles and sand urns placed at strategic points, will be of some help in keeping your floors from getting dirty. Entrance gratings or mats are desirable for cleaning dirt from employees' or visitors' feet as they enter the building. Also, floor runners are useful rainy day protection for your floors. Help your operator by providing him with an orderly sanitation storage space where he may get his supplies packaged and uncontaminated without waste time. In the average cleaning operation, about 40% of the time is non-productive, the get-ready time, which is spent in securing supplies, transporting them to the job, preparing solution, assembling equipment. Litter of any size must be carried away, and furniture must often be moved before the floor is ready for the actual cleaning operation. Thoughtful planning will reduce the time consumed by this phase of the cleaning operation. Tools for sweeping heavy litter include the brush and dustpan. For areas with light soil, a treated dust mop may be used. Selection of a suitable brush is important for an efficient sweeping operation. A 60-inch handle is desirable for ordinary use, the exact length depending on the height of the operator. The sweeping stroke should be one which allows the greatest coverage with the least amount of fatigue. An easy, rhythmical stroke. The back is straight, minimizing fatigue, and the arms are extended at the end of the stroke, providing greater coverage. Mopping equipment includes 2 mops, 2 mop buckets with wringer or squeezer, or a mopping tank and steel wool or synthetic pads. Mop wringing equipment varies depending on the areas where it is to be used. For small or obstructed areas where portability is necessary, a 16 to 44 quart bucket is desirable. There is a variety of mops available to meet your exact requirements. Large mopping tanks equipped with rubber tires and mop wringer are most desirable for mopping large areas. The mop should be run along the baseboard area first, so that the fast, rhythmical mopping stroke will not come too close to the baseboard and splash it. At the end of the 9-foot stroke, direction is reversed by lopping the mop and swinging it from right to left. Using a good rhythmical stroke, approximately 100 square feet can be cleaned with 1 application of solution. Time per 1,000 square feet varies from 30 minutes to an hour, depending upon operator's skill, the degree of soil, number of obstructions, and availability to water change facilities. After mopping with the cleaning solution, wait for the chemical action to emulsify the soil. Then the mop should be wrung and the emulsified solution picked up quickly to prevent its drying or soaking into the floor. Any spots remaining can probably be removed with steel wool and concentrated cleaning solution. Rinsing is an important part of the mopping operation. Use clear water and the clean mop. Cleaning solution left on the floor may be harmful to the surface through chemical action and may be slippery. Mopping or deck scrubbing will still be necessary in corners and under equipment inaccessible to the machine. A stiff fiber brush, such as bassine or palmetto fiber, is used for scrubbing soft floors. Some operators prefer the synthetic fiber pads. Others prefer steel wool. Some are mounted on separate driving units designed for driving these pads, while others are mounted to the brush with a holding device. When the tank is attached to the scrubbing machine, the amount of solution deposited on the floor is controlled by the operator and is determined by the degree of soil. Most machines rotate in a counterclockwise direction. The control of the machine is simple once it is learned. To make the machine move to the right, raise the handle. To make the machine move to the left, lower the handle. The beginning of the stroke should be made with the machine directly in front of the operator. A stroke of 6 feet is the best width for a single pass and is less fatiguing for individuals of average build. The machine scrubbing operation may be followed immediately by a pickup using a vacuum with squeegee attachment. If stripping is desired, then wait for the solution to act chemically, then flush with clear water and pick up with the vacuum. Some operators prefer to sweep the cleaning solution to a central point using a lightweight squeegee where it is picked up by the vacuum. The floor is then damp mopped with clear water, or a rinsing cycle with clear water is used to pick up any trace of cleaning solution. Unobstructed areas, efficient use of large automatic floor machines is recommended and can achieve maximum savings. These modern floor machines lay down the cleaning solution, scrub the floor, pick up the emulsion, lay down the rinse water, pick up the rinse water, and vacuum the floor dry. Where such equipment can be used, the efficiency in cleaning may be increased by 16-to-1 over hand cleaning. Portable vacuum cleaning machines have many uses, and models are available that are very light in weight, permitting the custodian to move rapidly from one area to another. Speaking of efficiency in terms of machines and equipment, and also from the standpoint of morale, the furnishing of individual sets of tools for cleaning workers has proven to be an important cost-saving factor. A protective coating is applied to resilient floors after cleaning. There are many types of protective coatings available. These include wax and non-wax products. The surface coating protects the flooring from abrasion by grit and dirt and harmful effects of air and moisture. The purpose of a protective coating is to preserve the flooring. Consult your NSSA jobber about products which will best fill your needs. It is his job to protect your floor. A coating makes daily cleaning easier, as dirt and dust do not stick to a hard surface. Also, the tough protective coating seals pores and cracks so that frequency of scrubbing or mopping is reduced, and the finish helps to protect against staining. The selection of the correct finish is very important. Consumer requirements may vary in accordance with their own particular operation. Your National Sanitary Supply Association member is qualified to recommend a product which will give you the qualities you desire. Important advancements have been made over the last few years in the development of protective coatings for floors. There is a wide range of coatings available for floor care. Finishing equipment consists of various types of applicators and containers. Finish is applied only to a clean floor and should follow the scrubbing operation as soon as the floor is dried. Many operators prefer the lamb's wool applicator, especially in small obstructed areas. A shallow pan is desirable for ease in applying finish. When finishing, apply a thin film using a straight stroke for uniform drying. Do not go over the surface after the initial application because the finish begins to dry immediately and additional strokes will cause streaking. In large unobstructed areas where a free rhythmic stroke is possible, application of finish with a mop is faster. However, the mop must be carefully wrung and care must be taken to prevent splashing baseboard, furniture, and equipment. The finish must be allowed to dry thoroughly. Drying time depends on the wax itself and also upon atmospheric conditions. Some finishes require buffing with brushes or synthetic pads between coats. After drying, apply a second coat of finish. This second coat gives added gloss and additional protection to the floor. For added luster, buff the area with a mechanical buffer using polishing brush or synthetic floor pad. Buffing burnishes the surface, making it tough and wear-resistant, as well as heightening the gloss. Application of the second coat will decrease the frequency of finishing needed. When it is applied immediately after the first coat is dry, it requires only a fraction of the time, since all make-ready preparation is eliminated. After the second coat, polish the floor with your choice of polishing pad placed under the brush or particular driving head required. At the end of the complete cleaning and finishing cycle, all equipment should be cleaned. It is important for the operator to form this cleanup habit to ensure proper maintenance of equipment and to have it ready for the next cleaning operation. Proper storage of tools and equipment will also prolong their life. This beautiful clean floor is easy to maintain through a program of daily floor care. Daily floor care is dependent upon the degree of soil on the floor and the amount of traffic in the area. For light soil, and as a preliminary to any other cleaning, dust mopping is suggested. When the floor becomes obviously soiled, mopping with clear water is the practice. The damp mop will pick up the soil without removing the finish coating from the floor. No rinse is needed when clear water is used instead of a cleaning solution. A light periodic machine buffing using a soft brush, steel wool, or synthetic buffing pad will restore the luster where traffic has impaired it or where it has been dulled by mopping. It may be necessary to refinish these areas before the entire floor requires a thorough cleaning and refinishing. This new finish may be blended easily into the old with skillful buffing. When the floor becomes noticeably soiled, it is desirable to remove the old finish by the stripping procedure and repeating the cleaning and refinishing operation. Type and amount of soil and traffic will determine the frequency. The techniques suggested in this film are not the only cleaning methods which can be used successfully on soft floors. However, they do represent floor cleaning practices designed to secure superior quality results in the average cleaning situation. If you have an unusual cleaning problem, consult your local NSSA supplier, who will be glad to help you work out a satisfactory solution. For the answers to specific questions you may have concerning any phase of floor care, call on your NSSA member salesman for assistance. Remember to keep your floors clean and well preserved. Bear in mind the points we've covered. 1. Plan work carefully beforehand. 2. Use only the best materials and equipment. 3. Avoid excessive use of harsh cleansers and solvents. 4. Clean the floor thoroughly and carefully. Rinse well. And 5. Protect the floor surface with a good finish coating, which will make daily maintenance easy and prolong the life of your floors. The National Sanitary Supply Association program of soft floor care means beautiful floors at low cost.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Skip Alzheimer. I started something called the AV Geeks Educational Film Archive, 25 years ago. I'm really bad with dates. So anyways, 27,000 educational films in a house that's about 5 minutes from my house. It's an old boarding house. Has more than 8 bedrooms, and it's stock full of films and equipment. So I'm not working there. My assistant is working by himself. And I'm working from home, and I decided to show some of the 3,000 plus films that we've digitized to you at lunch, to give you something else to do besides looking at the news. And also to answer questions you have about cleaning and maintenance of resilient floors. Excuse me. I love niche occupational films. They can be so dry and they can be so esoteric to whatever that field is, but oh man, I dig the trade, the terminology, I dig just the whole thing. Really amazing kind of glimpse into a certain occupation or a certain field. And this is actually predates me collecting films. I used to go to my local university library, and I would just walk through the stacks, and I would go in a certain area in the stacks and pull a trade journal, a big bound volume of trade journals, and just sit down and just pore over the illustrations and the advertising and the weird cartoons, comics that were skewed towards whatever that industry was. Really would just go into a rabbit hole long before the internet and long before I started collecting films. And certainly collecting films got into that. My brain was already there, and so here you go. So that's why I will bust out these films occasionally for your delight and for your tedium. Okay, so I think we're closing up week 9 of doing this, and hopefully we've learned a lot. This next film, we'll talk about fairness for beginners.
Every day in our room, we learn something more about being fair. Would you like to see how? Well, right now, Tommy thinks this game is not fair. Of course, each child who is chosen chooses another from the ring. But Tommy thinks they choose only their friends, and that doesn't seem fair. That's what Tommy's thinking. They choose only their friends. But look, Marilyn chooses Tommy, and she isn't a friend of his. Now Tommy will choose someone who isn't a special friend. This way, everyone gets a chance to play. That's being fair, isn't it? Yes, every day in our room, we learn something more about fairness. Another day in class, Tommy is making a cutout horse and wagon. Now all he needs is some paste to keep them in place. Let's see. The bottle of paste is in the cabinet. Yes. But Arnold needs the paste too, and he was first. Is this fair? Shouldn't Tommy wait his turn? Let's think with Tommy about other times when we wait our turn. When we want to go on the slide on the playground. It isn't fair, is it, when someone tries to go on the slide before you? This boy should go to the end of the line and take his turn as everyone does. This way, everyone can have a fair chance to use the slide. And we all have fun when we play fair and take turns. There are other places, too, where we take turns. At the drinking fountain, no one pushes, no one shoves. No one pushes when we're waiting for a bus, either. Everyone stands in line and waits his turn. Can you think of other places where we play fair by waiting our turn? Tommy thinks it would be better to wait his turn. He can use the paste after Arnold uses it. That's the fair thing to do, isn't it? But what is Arnold doing? Why, he's taking some paste for himself, and he's going to give the whole bottle of paste to Tommy. Arnold knows that there is only one bottle of paste in the cabinet, and that others want to use it. So he took a little paste for himself and shared the rest of it with Tommy. Arnold showed Tommy that another way to be fair is to share things. Do you think when we share, we are being fair? Tommy remembers one day when he had some work to do, raking leaves. Jim was there, too, and they had Tommy's bike to play with. Jim said he would help rake the leaves if he could ride Tommy's bike part of the time. They would share the work and the fun by taking turns. First, Jim was to ride the bike while Tommy raked leaves. Then Jim was to come back and take a turn raking leaves while Tommy rode the bike. That sounded fair enough. But Jim refused to give up the bike when it was Tommy's turn to ride. Is this fair? Jim was supposed to share the work and the bike with Tommy. Sharing things with your friends is a good way of being fair, isn't it? And Tommy knows that sharing things in the classroom is a good way to be fair. Others need to use the paste. Tommy is glad to share it. Sharing helps us in both our work and our play. What else do we learn about being fair? Robert knows that Sally likes to model with clay. Her little clay animal looks almost real, doesn't it? But Robert isn't doing too well. Can you guess what Robert is thinking? He thinks it would be a good idea to mess up Sally's work, make it look as bad as his. Oh, would that be fair? No. Robert wouldn't want anyone to spoil his work. Why, he remembers one day in the garage at home when he carefully painted a design on the stool he had built. Some bullies came in and began to tease him about the stool. They said they were going to mess up his work. Was that fair? No. The fair thing to do is to respect the rights of others. Robert certainly wished they had respected his rights and his work. Yes, Robert knows that he shouldn't even think about messing up Sally's work. He will respect her work and her rights. Maybe he can learn something from her. Maybe she'll even give him some help. See? Sally wants Robert's work to be good, too. Can you think of anything more fair than that? Do you see how in our class we learn something new about fairness every day? That's what makes our room such a good place for work and play. Our class showed it one day when I was called out of the room for a few minutes. Listening to the teacher and obeying the rules are good ways of being fair. I asked the class to work quietly while I was gone. Do you think they did? See if you think they knew how to be fair and obey the rules when they were by themselves. When Susie had something to tell Betty, she whispered it, so as not to disturb the others. Susie was being fair to the class, for the class wanted quiet so they could work. Everyone had work to do. Uh-oh, Dorothy had trouble, but Roger was glad to help her. Do you think that helping others is another way of being fair? Betty found something funny she thought Jack would enjoy. Isn't this another way of sharing? Of course, I was pleased when I came back into the room. Everyone was quietly doing his own work. Isn't this a good way of being fair? Do you always try to be fair this way? In our class, we've learned many ways of being fair. Do you remember? We've learned that when we take turns, we are being fair. When we share things, we are being fair. We show fairness when we respect the rights of others just as we want them to respect our rights. When we obey the rules, when we are quiet and do our work, even if the teacher is out of the room, we are being fair. And we are being fair when we know how to choose people. We don't just choose our friends. We choose so that everyone gets a chance to play. Don't you think our class knows a good bit about fairness? Is it any wonder that our room is such a good place for work and play?
So this is part of Coronet's utopian vision of how elementary schools should work. I have another film in my collection called How Quiet Helps Us at School. And it shows very little bad behavior. It mostly shows good behavior. And the founder of Coronet Films always wanted to kind of always show good behavior if he could, so that people could model that. And I just think, it's a very high bar with the elementary kids. Speaking of, excuse me, this is the problem with eating lunch while I'm actually doing this. I try to generally space it out, but this next film I saw this a long time ago. I was doing a screening in California in San Francisco at the ATA with Other Cinema and Craig Baldwin. And he showed this film, and I was blown away by it. I was really amazed by it and eventually tracked it down. This is a film that's made to be shown to the employees that work at I think is it AC Delco? I can't remember the specific company. That's a failure on my behalf. But anyways, it's trying to make them feel bad about taking vacation and taking sick leave and about being lax and lazy. And it's I don't think it worked, but here it is. This is what it's all about.
What's it all about? Every day we hear the words. Words like quality, productivity, excellence, competition. Words don't seem to get the whole message across. But we can tell you what it's all about. It's about work and jobs and what's happening at Delco Products. Some of you know right now what's happening. There have been layoffs, closed doors, empty rooms, silent machines. They're moving out the equipment that was once used to build appliance motors. And this equipment is only 2 years old. It's expensive machinery, designed to help us do better work, make better motors. But it didn't work out that way. These machines were bought so Delco Products could be more competitive. Now, they're moving them out, selling them to the competition. Why? Because the machines didn't work? Not really. We just couldn't compete in the marketplace. Somehow, we didn't put it all together. Sometimes, Some of us didn't think it was necessary to come to work every day. The cost of quality in Dayton couldn't meet the competition elsewhere. Now, the doors are closed. 1,300 people were laid off. Some did come back to work in other areas, but a lot of jobs were lost. Many can relate the shutdown to work in the hermetically sealed appliance motor area. For them, that's where it happened. What's it all about? It's about competition. In the whole world, people are working, making the motors that once was our job. Somebody down south, somebody out west, even somebody in Japan is doing that work. The need is still there, but the competition is getting the job done. Now you know. You say there's really nothing to worry about? We have new products coming up? Yes and no. We can't take 2 steps backward while we take 1 step forward. We need the new products and the old business too. That's the only way we can stay healthy. We can learn a lot from what happened in other industries. Most of us know that 9 out of 10 home radios are made in Japan. That industry is gone from the USA. Did you know that 2 out of every 5 pair of shoes are made overseas? Little league or big league, 9 out of 10 baseball mitts sold in the U.S. are made somewhere else. That sweater you wear to the bowling alley, where was it made? 7 out of 10 sweaters come from another land. And motorcycles? American motorcycles have just about disappeared. 19 out of 20 are foreign made. You get the picture? We're losing to the competition. It's time we recognize that working means a full day, every working day. We mean everybody. The others are gaining because we have forgotten how we made our business strong. We are only strong when everybody comes to work on time, all the time. We are strong when each person does his job and does it right the first time. How many times have you heard someone say, don't work too hard? Hard work is what made us strong. We are only strong when we are willing to compete with the whole world. There's no real way the government can save us. Tariffs and surtaxes only help for a little while. In the world market, foreign governments would soon put taxes on all goods made here. That means people in many U.S. industries lose the competitive edge. If they don't have jobs, they don't buy cars or appliances that need motors. Then it comes right back to us. We should know the facts of life. And here they are. As for appliance and air-moving motors, we're out of business. Closed up. Shut down. We didn't cut the mustard. In hermetic motors, we are operating at 50% of our capacity. That's 1/2 of what we can do. Industrial motors, we're working at 75% of capacity. A little better, but we should be running at 100%. We're 25% down. On the good side, we do have the energy absorbers to build. We are ahead of competitors in this one area. But how long can we stay that way? You can bet on this. We can't research and develop new ideas and then lose the business we had. Most of us grew up knowing about competition. If you score a field goal and the other guy scores a touchdown, he's ahead. That's what it's all about. Now, let's talk about what we can do about it. The equipment we work with is designed to be productive at a normal, consistent pace. It's the best machinery we could design and buy. But it must be run from the very moment you start your shift. If you're doing your job, you know it. But if you're not, you know that too. You see, we're paying the highest rates. We should set the highest goals for ourselves. The machines are there all the time, but they can't be used to advantage when people stay home from work. When we come to the plant, we come here with the idea that we'll do a full job for our pay. A full measure. That's what it's all about. We are the people who can really make the difference in competition. That's us. Us. Everybody has his own job. What matters is how we do it. We can't blame the other guy. It's our pride and our sense of value. If we don't do the job, somebody else will. And he or she may not live in Dayton or Rochester. The competition is out there, wherever people are willing to work at the job and give 100% effort. No amount of good management, modern machinery, or product research can substitute for our pride in our work. This runs pretty deep in all of us. We can only walk the world with dignity when we know we're giving our very best. And you know when you are. Dignity isn't the color of your shirt or the cut of your jacket. Dignity is what's in your heart and hands. Pride is knowing that you helped to build a product that can and will compete with anything and anybody in the whole world. And it's something more than that, too. It's knowing we have a place to work, and there's a job there for us. A place to work is where we find dignity. Believe me, it's how we go about it that counts. What's happened has happened. We can't replay the game and get back the jobs we lost. But we can make sure that it doesn't happen again and again. Well, we can. That's more like it. We is a big word. It's a personal word. It means a big effort from all of us. With a little pride and honest concern, we could put Delco products right back where we belong, on top. When we do it, we're buying something for ourselves. You see, this is our place. We work here. And that is what it's all about.
Yikes. So it definitely, watching this was just amazing. I had never seen a way to hope to improve productivity by just making everybody feel bad, really bad. Usually it's the other way. In fact, I did a screening called The Lazy American Worker, where I showed films that were about morale, about worker morale, and trying to build it, or related to, there was another one that was actually made by the AFL-CIO, which was talking about like the perception that American cars were worse than foreign cars, Japanese cars. And, they use examples like the Pinto. The Pinto is just as good as the Honda Civic. And, it was really fascinating. But, this film is just nuts as far as morale. And just everybody just feels bad at the end of this. I'm sure that afterwards, whoever the supervisors were basically saying like, all right, well, we're going to have to close this factory down unless you make changes. And I'm sure that there was also, this was shown whenever there was union rumblings, possibility of strikes, etc., even though they didn't say anything about it. Wow, so where do we go from there? Let's watch this film about safety belts and this amazing device they use to convince people, I think it's called the convincer, to convince people to wear safety belts. Here we go.
Vehicle damage, $900. Passenger injuries, severe facial lacerations and dental damage. Medical expenses, $15,000. Comments. Restraint system not in use at the time of crash. This happens about every 16 seconds. Vehicle damage, $800. Driver injuries, massive head and chest damage. Dead on arrival. Comments. Restraint system not in use at the time of crash. This happens about every 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be. Vehicle damage, $4,100. Occupants' injuries, none. Comments. Restraint system in use at the time of crash. "16 seconds between each injury. Not a very long time, but plenty of time to put on safety belts. Time enough to save as many as 20,000 lives a year. This is the convincer. Its purpose? Convince people to use safety belts. Yet many still refuse. Why?
I don't wear those things. It's safer to be thrown clear of a car in an accident.
The probability of death is 5 times greater if you are thrown from the car.
What if the car catches on fire? Then I'm stuck.
With belts on, chances are you will not be knocked unconscious, but will remain alert and escape quickly.
Oh, everybody knows that seat belts cause internal injuries.
Not when properly adjusted, with the lap belt snugly against your hip bone. The shoulder belt should cross your shoulder and chest. Your head should meet the head restraint squarely.
I don't need seatbelts. I'm just going down to the store for a few minutes. It's only a few miles, and I never drive fast.
3 out of 4 traffic deaths occur within 25 miles of home, at speeds as slow as 12 miles per hour. Hard to believe that slow speeds kill? That is 10 miles per hour. Every one of those was 10 miles per hour. Convincing, isn't it? In Australia, where seatbelt usage is now mandatory, a study was conducted. The results are startling. Skull and brain injuries, down 33%. Spinal injuries, down 40%. Facial injuries, down 50%. Chest and lung injuries, down 50%. Eye injuries, down 75%. Most startling statistic of all, deaths, down 20%. I hope you're convinced. Please spend the short time it takes to buckle up. This driver did. His wife didn't. The choice is yours.
The Convincer. The least fun ride at the county fair. I love when they have, especially, I'm in Raleigh, so we have the state fair here every year, and North Carolina DOT always has some sort of booth, and they show off different technologies to convince people to do different types of behavior. One of the things that they do, or they did for a while, is that they had this drunk drive-in simulator where it would show you the, you'd sit in this kind of, this car seat, and you'd have this monitor, and you'd have accelerator and brake, and there would be this thing that, you know, it would show your reaction time, and then it would slow it down. And they had this animatronic, Richard Petty, who was, you know, guiding you through this and was talking about the importance of not drinking and driving. They ultimately, Richard Petty ran for, I think, Secretary of State, and so they had to quickly change the animatronic into something else and re-record the voice because they didn't want it to look like the DOT was promoting Petty's run for this Secretary of State. So things like that I love. The other thing that I loved was the DOT gave out these little clickers that were called, that said on them, click it or ticket. And then this is part of the initiative that you have to wear your seatbelt in North Carolina or you'll get a ticket. And so you had tens of thousands of little kids with these little click, 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 click. And I'm sure that by the end of the day, the parents were losing their minds of these little click, 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 click. Good times at the state fair. And anyway, so the Convincer brought back all those memories. So somebody during Fairness for Beginners said, wow, this is a lot like The Lottery, Shirley Jackson's The Lottery. Well, I just happen to have that film digitized for my collection, and this is a really great telling of it. It features a very young Ed Begley Jr. And some other character actors that you might recognize, and it's good. It's really, really wonderful. And so here is The Lottery.
Hey, there's slots over here.
Steve hates to eat those TV dinners. I don't blame him.
Dick Delco's a pest. I think he's cute.
I understand better than I do that second grade teacher.
Get the new roof up? Finished yesterday.
Come on, Harry, put it back.
Did you ever hear of taxes going down?
Then I'm going to finish it off with some lace around the sleeves.
Harry, you come here now. Sally, come here. Bobby Martin.
You, Bob, come here, now. Little late today, folks. Guess this'll do it, Harry. Some of you fellas want to give me a hand? Come on, Baxter. Thank you, Phil. Hiya, Baxter. Think that should do it?
I clean forgot what day it was. I looked out the window and the kids was gone. I remembered it was the 27th. I came a-running.
You're in time. You're still getting ready.
Do you solemnly swear that you will perform without prejudice or favoritism those duties prescribed by custom and dictated by law?
I do.
Bill's up front.
Postmaster
I'll see you later.
of this community, by the authority of my office, I appoint you master of the lottery.
Here comes Tessie, Bill.
Thought we were going to have to get on without you, Tessie.
You wouldn't have me leave my dishes in the sink, would you, Joe?
Well, now, guess we better get started. Get this over with so as we can go back to work. Are there anybody else ain't here?
Dunbar.
Clyde Dunbar ain't here.
Clyde Dunbar. That's right, he's broke his leg, hasn't he? Who's drawing for him this year?
Me, I guess.
Janie, ain't you got a grown boy to do it for you?
Well, Horace ain't but 16 yet. I guess I'll have to do it myself this year.
Watson boy drawing this year?
Here. I'm drawing for me and my ma.
Good boy, Jack. Glad to see your mother's got a man to do it.
Well, I guess that's everyone. Old man Warner make it?
Here.
All ready? I'll read the names then. Heads of families first. The men come up and draw a paper out of the box. I keep the paper folded in your hand without looking at it until everyone's had a turn. Everything clear? Adam.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Steve. Anderson. Bentham.
Seems like there's no time at all between lotteries anymore. Seems like only last week we got through with the last one.
Yeah, time sure does go fast.
Clark. Morning, Andy.
Morning, Joe.
Delco. Hi, Stan.
Hi, Joe.
Dunbar.
There she goes. We're next.
Graves.
Joe.
Harbit. Hutchinson.
Get up there, Bill.
That a girl, Tessie?
Jones.
They say over in Warren County they're talking about giving up the lottery.
Pack of crazy fools, listening to the young folks. Nothing is good enough for them.
Judd.
First thing you know, everybody want to be going back to living in caves. Nobody work anymore. Live that way for a while.
Cleffer.
Used to be a saying, lottery in June, corn heavy soon. Next thing we'd know, we'd all be eating stewed chickweed and acorns.
Langley.
There's always been a lottery.
Hi, Mitch.
Hi, Joe.
It's bad enough to see young Joe Summers out there joking with everybody.
Martin.
Some places have already quit lotteries.
Nothing but trouble in that. Pack of young fools.
Overdyke.
I wish they'd hurry.
Percy. Robinson. Summers. Warner.
77th year I've been in the lottery. 77th time.
Watson.
Don't be nervous, Jack.
Take your time, son. Zanini. Hi, George. All right, fellas.
Bill Hutchinson's got it.
You didn't give him time enough to pick the one he wanted. I saw you. You didn't give him time. It wasn't fair.
Be a good sport, Tessie.
We all took the same chance.
Shut up, Tessie.
Well, everybody, that went pretty fast. Now we're going to have to be hurrying a little more to get done in time. Bill, you drew for the Hutchinson family. You got any other households in the Hutchinsons? Any in-laws? Grandchildren?
There's Don and Eva. Make them take their chance.
Daughters draw with their husbands' families. You know that as well as anyone else, Tessie.
It isn't fair.
I guess not, Joe. My married daughter draws with her husband's family. It's only fair. I got no other family except the kids.
How many kids, Bill?
3. Nancy, Bill Jr., Davy, and Tessie and me.
All right, Harry, you got 4 tickets ready?
Yeah.
Drop them in the box. Take Bill's and put it in. Ready, Bill?
I think we should start over. It wasn't fair. They didn't give him time enough to choose. Everybody saw that. Well, you all saw that. Please listen to me. Joe didn't give Bill enough time.
You ready, Bill? Remember, take a slip and keep it folded until each person's taken one. Now, Harry, you help little Davy. Take a paper out of the box, Davy. Just take one. Harry, you hold it for him. Nancy? Bill Jr.? Tessie? Bill?
I hope it's not Nancy.
It ain't the way it used to be. People ain't the way they used to be.
All right, open the papers. Harry, you open little Davies. Nancy? Bill Jr.? Tessie? Bill? It's Tessie. Show us her paper, Bill. All right, folks, let's finish quickly.
up. I can't run. You go ahead, I'll catch up with you.
Here, Davy.
It isn't fair! Oh, it isn't fair! It isn't right!
Oh, wow. It's kind of a downer. This is in keeping with when I have guests and we always go down these dark holes. Maybe that's a Friday thing, is like, I don't know. Anyways, an amazing film. I put in the comments a Wikipedia link that talks about the reception of the story when it was first published, and also about the film and about various adaptations of it. Really quite amazing film. You know, we can draw lots of parallels with what happens in contemporary society. I'm not going to do it here. But I can't just leave you with that. I'm sorry. I have one little breath mint that will hopefully clear away some of the darkness. But before I show that, thanks everybody for tuning in today. Tonight at 6 o'clock, I'll be doing another screening with a expert, and we're going to talk about plastics, how great plastics are, and how horrible plastics are. So we'll be watching films about the wonders of plastics, and then we'll see what goes wrong with plastics, and we'll talk about that. The guest expert is a history professor at NC State, and this is done in conjunction with Hunt Library, which is one of the NC State libraries. Not the one that I used to go to when I was in school. That library did not exist at the time. But it's a beautiful library nonetheless. Look it up. All right. Palate cleanser. Get you on your day, and hopefully copyright hammer will not come down. This is Bugs Beetle and his orchestra. Enjoy.
Played by Bugs Beetle and his band.
Did you say bugs?
Yes, bugs. Thousands of them.
Ain't she cute?
Do that to me. I'll get him. at him! I don't get it. I must be getting old.
Okay. Are we better? I'm sorry. I guess the reason that I showed that film is that somebody mentioned it, and I was like, ooh, I love that film. It's so good. And the story is so good, and I just need to check myself before I unleash the psychic damage that I unleash. I sometimes delight in psychic damage, especially if it's not traditional triggers. But I'm sorry. Hopefully we'll all be better for it. and Bugs Beetle performing in the big apple, literally an apple, helped heal and salve the rough stuff that we saw before. But anyways, thanks again for tuning in. We're going to be back on Monday at 1 p.m. And also tonight at 6 o'clock, we're going to do something in the Hunt Library. Look for us on YouTube and select Facebook groups. And if you like what you saw, avgeeks.com is a great place to look. And also Patreon is a great place to help contribute and help the AV Geeks. I just bought something on eBay for the first time in about 2 months, and I'm excited to find it and hopefully digitize it and show it to you. And that's where a lot of the money from Patreon goes, is to buy things that help support our efforts in collecting films and also showing you films. And I very much enjoy showing these films to you, even if it causes you to cover your eyes and go, oh my gosh, what's going on? Thank you for joining me on that. And you guys mean a lot to me. And hopefully you'll have a good weekend. You'll come back on Monday and we will watch some more stuff. Maybe some mimes. So have a good weekend. And maybe I'll see you tonight. If not, I will see you on Monday. Take care.